Hey everyone, we're here with John and Scott from Cult Icon. Um, Guys, thank you. Greatly appreciate you taking time out of your night to come hang out and chat with me.
Hey, thanks, Tom. It's nice meeting you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, nice meeting you guys too. That was Sophia, by the way. We've got three pit bulls upstairs and then the cat downstairs. Sometimes she comes up, but most of the time she's like, fuck those
Yeah.
guys. I'm gonna hang out down here away from them.
Emotional support.
Yeah,
Right
yeah,
on.
I'm her emotional support animal.
Emotional support.
I'm a cat person, so I can appreciate it.
Right on. Yeah, she what the only time I come down here is to listen to records and to record. So she's like, "Oh, you're fucking down here? Sweet." As soon as I start down the stairs, she's right to the couch like, "All right, dude, I'm ready to go."
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
So, um I was listening to the latest album that came out on March 15th.
Yes.
I'm going to get this wrong, so I apologize. Black
Um,
Iron Prison.
you got it
You got
right.
it right.
Fuck
Came out on the
yeah.
Ides of March this year.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I dig it. Like, I'm going to say this, and I hope you guys don't take offense to it, but I hear a lot of different influences in there. Um, there's God, like Pink Floyd, ISIS. I love ISIS. Like, what a good
Same.
fucking band. And
Yeah.
those, to me, those are probably the two largest influences that I noticed on what I've listened to.
Right on. Yeah, there's no offense. I think there is a lot of influences in there. I can't say that we consciously are doing it. It just sort of.
Happens.
Yeah, I mean, we've been asked some other questions in interviews, how we get the writing process together, or how it all came together. The best way I could describe it is we just kind of took all of our influences, just kind of threw them together, but no one specifically said. The only thing I think we specifically said was no singing.
Okay.
Beyond that, it was just here we go. I don't even know how we landed on like what I call long form instrumental music, where you're playing 7 or 8 minutes up to 11, I think, of
11.
some songs.
Yeah.
It's kind of a soundtrack in a way that it goes linear, but we don't do a lot of callbacks. Every now and then we do, but yeah, that's about the only two things we really settled on, and then everything else we just kind of got together and just let it out, and it's been working so far.
That's so like it's a good way to really approach music because then you're not stuck in this black iron prison
True.
of
I
sound,
like
right?
that. Yeah, yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, look, I've been in bands where we said we're going to do this, and we did it, and that's fine too. I'm just saying we had no idea. We just got together in a storage unit, practice space kind of thing, and just went for it. And here we are. We're, I guess, getting ready to start the third album soon. But again, there's nothing, there's no date set, like we're going to start here and we're going to be in a studio. It's just we'll start introducing some new ideas, get riffs together, see what riffs can work. Someone might have some pieces that work here, here, and here, and then just play them ad nauseum until you figure out if they work together or not. And then every now and then, like, just a huge light bulb goes off, and you're like, oh, let's go there with it, you know. So, you could just be driving home and hear just something on Spotify or Bandcamp, and you're like, I like that riff. You're not trying to rip it off, but it sparks something else to get you going down the road, or you're like watching an old spaghetti western.
Hell yeah.
You hear some of that intro music, you're like, oh, we could have a quiet part right in here.
Well,
Yeah,
that I think that's the beautiful thing about music, right? Is like there comes a time when there's not obviously there's not a note that hasn't been played.
true.
Every note, damn near any riff you can possibly think of has been played somewhere, somehow. It might be just a little different phrasing or a little different like effects on it or something, but the damn thing's been played. So
Hmm.
you're gonna be and you're gonna pull influences from a lot of different areas, right? Which is
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just part of it.
I agree. I think, and even the idea of like, well, let's invent a new instrument. Okay, cool. But somehow you still go back to like a 3-bar blues as you're trying to learn this new instrument you've never played before, and you're like, okay, that sounds cool. And then the next thing you know, you're just back to your influences again. They just sound maybe a little bit different, you know. And so, I think when you're writing, you have to just let go of that too. That what does it sound like? As long as it, because most of the time it's not really sounding like anybody else, but you do sometimes wind up in maybe some of the same type of rhythms, like da 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 da. And you're like, okay, we know we've heard that before. Let's see what we can do to change it, or maybe just not play so much of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you listen to, like Dave Grohl's interviews when they were recording Nevermind, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I took this drum from this band in the
Yeah,
'70s." Like,
yeah.
I,
I sorry. Yeah, I saw that interview too, and I think it was like from a disco song.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, but that's great though, because it's your ability to take it and say no one's really going to know it's from a disco song because it's inside that rock song.
and
You
no
know,
one had any fucking idea until he said
Yeah.
anything.
I think there's a video with Blur talking about, I think, what song number 2. Anyway, Damon, I can't remember his last name. He's pressing like a sampler on like this like kid's keyboard. He goes, "Yeah, that's just it. We just took that little part from that keyboard and we just turned it into a song." And I'm like, bravo, bravo. Because I've been in other instrumental bands where we had keyboards that had the drum patterns in there. It was called the Baldwin Discoverer with another ER, but the drummer would use some of the drum patterns from it, and we would write around those drum patterns. And then one day the Baldwin Discoverer was destroyed.
Ah, then
Yeah.
it's the Baldwin dead.
What's that?
Then it's the Baldwin dead.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, no, it's just, you take what you got, you put it in a way that you like, and hopefully other people can appreciate what it is that you're doing.
Right. Well, yeah, that's the truth. You always hope that someone can appreciate it besides yourself.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it depends on what you want to do. I can say for myself, I don't have a great concern. Like, yes, I would like people to like what we're doing, but my overarching concern isn't, is it popular?
Right.
Because making 8-minute instrumental songs is a little bit over there.
We're
Yeah.
at a disadvantage right out of the gate.
Just a little one.
It's a small target audience. But yeah, I mean, we're just 3 guys sitting in a practice space, hashing out ideas, and things come quickly, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we just kind of move on and try a different idea.
So it sounds like you guys write music that you guys want to listen to.
Maybe.
Pretty much. I mean, I think guilty as charged. I think, but like when you talk about like honest creativity, if you're not creating something that you like, you're trying to, I don't want to sound negative, but maybe pander to an audience. You're trying to write for an audience.
We call it selling out.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. So, at the end of the day, if you're writing something that you would want to listen to, it really is kind of more of an honest creation than if you're kind of trying to second guess, well, what are the kids going to want to listen to next week?
Yeah.
Because that's shooting at a moving target, and maybe a little less genuine, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%. It definitely, I feel like when an artist is out there trying to do exactly that, right? Pander to the audience and not to themselves, it loses all, like, in my mind, authenticity, right? Like, then when you're out there playing, it doesn't come off as genuine. Like, I saw a band a few weeks ago, probably a couple months ago, actually, because I'm old and time is totally fucked.
I think it's 2019 right now still.
Yeah.
So I get it.
That's absolutely
Yeah.
what it feels like still. Like, I don't know what happened, but
I-
so
Us too.
they were all really good musicians, but they're up there on stage and it just, what they were playing was not coming across, the audience was just kind of like,
Yeah.
next. Um, so it makes it tough. And I think I prefer I prefer more underground music, right? Bands that haven't been heard because there's no one for them to impress, right? They're like, all of the music they write is specifically written for themselves. And it comes across as genuine and authentic. And like, it's a big bunch of who gives a fuck. Like, let's play this because we think it's cool.
Yeah, and when you think about all the, we'll say local bands, because just about every metropolitan area has local bands. If you look at it from the point of view that you have to be pretty good because your audience is other bands most of the time.
Yeah.
And then you bring in a few people from the street, but you're not bringing in a lot, when you're getting out to play, and you're playing for 20 people, I guarantee 12 of them are probably in bands, 2 of them work there.
Yeah.
So if people in your community, especially your musician community, are inviting you to play, you must be doing something all right
Yeah.
because they don't want to sit through something they're not enjoying just because they need an opener, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. You're
And
absolutely right. And I think like Louisville's a little bit different, right? You go to a local show here. I was at one 2 weeks ago. It was fucking sold out.
wow,
Uh,
that's cool.
like it's we have we have a really good community, right? And that's what it is. It's a community. All the bands support each other, and you go out to shows, and they do things like sell out, right?
That's nice. That's nice.
It's like, oh shit, even the bigger places. Have you guys heard of Belushi Speedball?
No.
Mm.
Okay, so they're a crossover band. They're based here in Louisville, and they had an album release May 11th. Crazy that I remember that. Um, so we went to the
Congratulations.
show, and I'm going to tell you what, it was damn near 700 people in that club for that.
Nice. Nice.
Like, holy shit, you know. Um, so I love it. I love here. I love the community that we
Yeah.
have. I would like to see a lot more, of that around the country and world. But we also have the shows where it's like there's 5 people here. Like, what do
Oh
we
yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Who
Right.
cares? It's the bartender. Like, let's just do
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. The competition for eyes and ears is um tougher these days. You've got more choices. I think we're probably all close to the same age, and we were seeing shows pre-internet, and so you had in your town. Here's my choices. I'm going to go to see a show because what am I going to do? Watch 3 channels on TV if I'm lucky. I have 3. And then the radio, if you're looking for alternatives, the radio is not really giving you any unless you live next to like a college station.
Yeah.
And so going out and going to see live music and live events was just part of the routine. It was, I mean, I remember when shows would start at midnight sometimes, you know, 10 o'clock at least,
Yeah.
and now everyone's kind of like, well, let's try to get closer to like 8 or 9, which is great during the week
Oh
because
yeah.
trying to encourage people like, you can stay up past 10 o'clock. It's okay.
Not
Right.
my ass is in bed by like 9.
Well, if you're getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, this was not intentional today. I just
Okay.
so I'm a realtor, like that's my day job.
All right.
And my phone was ringing at 3 o'clock this morning with oh shit, this deal's falling apart. Like, right fucking now? Shouldn't you guys
Yeah.
all be asleep? What's going on?
I thought people make deals at 3 o'clock, not
Yeah.
break them.
Right. I'm like, oh, this is
Now you know. You can
Yeah.
go both ways.
yeah, either way, you're fucked.
Yeah, no one
I,
wants a 3 a.m. phone call.
no, but I
Because it,
think we saved it, but I'm
yeah,
like, oh my God.
yeah.
What a good start to the day. I was like, okay, I guess I'm up and ready to fucking go, whatever that means.
I mean, well, yeah, I mean, why not? It's like if you're up, you're up. It's like, I'm gonna snooze for 7.5 minutes. What's the point?
Right.
For 6 of those minutes, I'm like, can I get to sleep in a minute?
And
And
as soon
then
as you fall asleep,
uh,
it's like, ah, time to get up.
I
Yeah.
get like I've tried to get rid of that whole snooze system and just power through it and be like, just get up because once you're up, you're awake.
Dude, I'm going to tell you what, I got rid of snooze and as soon as that alarm goes off, I'm up and moving and I feel so much better. I
Yeah,
also got rid of coffee and all that shit. So like, I say all that shit, like any caffeine, like I don't drink caffeine anymore.
sure. Yeah, you're not like chugging Red Bulls at 8:30 in the morning, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Right. So like I just get up. I've got a lot cleaner like thought process. Makes
Nice.
get up and go. I'm like, all right. My wife's like, you're crazy. I'm like, all right.
I mean, look, man, if it's working for you, it's like people when they diet,
Yeah.
whatever works for you is great. Just don't tell me about it.
I just told you about it. Damn it.
No, yeah. No, I'm talking about diets
Yeah,
anyway.
me too. So sorry, back to music.
Oh, it's all right.
So
You
how did
said
you
you
guys
said you said the interview is conversational, so
I absolutely did.
yeah, I listen to some conversational podcasts, so this is not out of the ordinary.
Okay. Uh, how did you guys meet?
We met through a mutual friend.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess Mike Johnson, right?
Yeah, or Josh Edwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've known each other for forever,
Yeah.
basically, through the bar scene.
We've been in Raleigh for a while together, so we never really hung out. We've known each other, been
Mhm.
acquainted, drank in the same bars, had some mutual friends, and then I was putting an ad out for the band, and I had put something on Craigslist that our drummer called me about. And one of the things I did with that was I told people that I am older than 40 at the time. And it's not that I don't want to play with younger guys, but younger guys or younger people, they've got a different mindset as far as like where they want to go and how they want to do things. I'm not there anymore. In other words, if you're 25 years old, you may have the ability to get in the van and go for a month or 2 months to tour. I just couldn't do stuff like that,
Right.
And so I got one person calling me about drums, and that was Ryan. We met, we started playing, and then I saw Scott at a bar, and I said, "Hey, I'm doing this band. You want to play guitar?"
And I was like, hell yeah, because I was in between projects and sort of looking for something to sink my teeth into.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
And then I gave him the wrong address,
that's true. You
so we
did.
were waiting for him.
I went to the
I'm
wrong
like,
storage unit.
Yeah,
And I'm like, where are you
yeah.
guys?
I'm not trying to fuck with you.
He's like, I'm at the front gate right now. I'm like, no, motherfucker, I'm at the door. Like, what? Where are you?
There's more than one ample storage in Raleigh.
Yeah.
Apparently. So,
They were like half a mile away from each other.
but yeah, Scott came by, and we had auditioned like one or two other guys, and it just didn't fit. And Scott came in, and it was like that. Like I think with the the first song we worked on was what? Was it Circle Birds or was it Orgasm of Death on the first record?
No, it was either Great Wake
Great Wake,
or Circle
yeah.
Birds was
Yeah,
one of the
okay.
first ones we worked on.
Yeah, he just jumped. Now here's the thing, Ryan and I have been together for, I don't know, 6 or 7 months. So it's just drum and bass laying tracks down. So when Scott showed up, it's like, hey, we have some bones here that you can play guitar over. Would you want to do that? And for some people, they don't like doing that. And
Right.
that's okay. He jumped right in and it just went, and we've been kind of writing that way ever since. A lot of the songs get kind of put together from the rhythm section, and then we just bring guitars in later.
That's
Yeah, I hit the ground running in a lot of ways because like John said, a lot of people would sort of see that as a detriment. But when you hear a bass and drums play together and it sounds kind of like a song already, the guitar really can do more ancillary things and explore a little more territory than just sort of, oh, I'm just gonna chug on E with these guys versus, you said that there were maybe some Pink Floyd influences, and I'm not entirely gonna deny that I would be influenced by Pink Floyd, but like the ethos of just sort of not adhering to just a standard chord pattern of exploring delays, exploring reverbs, and maybe solo ideas here and there. Just that's sort of what laid the groundwork for where we started and where we are now.
I think that's
Starting with that framework of the bass and drums.
it's a really cool way to like start a song with the bass and drums, and then have to come and bring guitars to fill in otherwise. Because you're right, I feel like about everyone that I know, they always start with guitar and build off of whatever that rhythm looks like.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of bands work on a real riff-based system, which isn't wrong. It's just it plants one instrument as sort of like the main voice. And John writes songs on bass as a riff. So like the riff is already there, the hook is already there. So it sort of gives me the opportunity to just fuck off and do weird stuff. Like I can follow along if I want to sort of reinforce a real heavy idea, or I can sort of just kind of go off into outer space and do some weird stuff that, doesn't detract from what John and Ryan are doing, but it almost adds a vocal-esque viewpoint to the song.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to, I don't have to stay on the root note.
I think that's one of the reasons that I like ISIS, because it's similar in that aspect, right? Like the guitars, they act as the vocals, and it's like, fuck yeah. Like I can really get into that because it's one of those instances, or it's like Black Iron Prison is such a good fucking album. You can just get into it, close your eyes, and go for the fucking ride.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think we all grew up about the same time, and that was a time when you didn't get to pick and choose what song you listened to unless you were fast forwarding on the tape or trying to find the right song on the record.
Yeah.
You sat down and you listened to it front to back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, and we, some of the comments that we've gotten at shows from people are along those lines that, one person had even said, like, it's a great record for cleaning the house and studying to. And
Such a weird flex.
But I'm like, I'm not going to deny you because, I mean, if it helps you clean the house, great. But yes, you're right that you can just put it on and go. It's like I was in another band and we like to tell people it's mixed for your headphones. Sit back, put people have earbuds now, but yeah, headphones, and just sit back and like go somewhere. And we've had there's I think a comment on Bandcamp from someone, the same kind of thing where they just put the headphones on and put the album on and just go. And I think that's for me at least, it's a great compliment.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what's happening. It is sort of, if you want to put it in a genre, soundtrack. It is kind of a soundtrack for we're not writing it like a soundtrack. We're not thinking, okay, here's where you slide down into the crater on Mars, and but yeah, I think that's kind of how things have worked out, and and I agree with Scott, giving him the ability to say, here's a nice foundation, here's where it's going to go, get crazy.
Yeah.
And not everyone can do it. It's a compliment to him because we did have other guitar players, and nothing against their style, but what they want, it was too much for them to. I'm not exactly sure why, but it was just too much for them to take in. They're like, I don't know what to play to this. I'm like, well, you have the root. If
yeah. Some people just they just can't connect that, right?
Yeah.
And it's and it could be because they can't connect the music, or they're just not connecting with the other members in the band, right? So for whatever reason, they weren't a good fit, and Scott comes in and fucking crushes it. He's like,
absolutely,
pulling a Joe Satriani, surfing with the alien and shit.
Yeah.
That's one of the great things about music, I feel like, is you know, you're in a room and you're having a conversation, but it's not a conversation of words, right? Like
Right.
you're conversing with your bandmates, whether you think you are or not. And that's, I think that's important to like us clicking together as a unit, is that we all eventually spoke the same language about music. We all had the same goals. We all had the same presence of mind to say, this is where we want to go with this.
Yeah.
And without ever saying it, you know,
Th-
like it just happened.
Well,
And,
that's,
and that was
that,
really cool.
Absolutely.
that's absolutely one of the great things about music is you don't need words to connect, right?
Exactly.
Like music is the great connector. If there's nothing else in this world that we can identify with, we can absolutely identify with someone who says, "Hey, I like this band and this song," and you're like, "Fuck yeah, me too." Like this is,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And it's, hey, this is what I feel, or this is what I think about when I listen to it. And you're like, oh, well, shit, I never thought about it like that, but I thought this, and instead of going, you're fucking wrong, we're open and we listen,
Yeah.
right? And there's nothing else. Like, who gives a shit? You know,
Yeah.
we actually connect, and that's the good thing about, well, my favorite thing about music is there's no race, there's no fucking religion, there's, like nothing matters,
Absolutely.
you know?
And people are like, oh, I don't have anyone to go to the show with me. What are you talking about? There's 800 people that's going to be in the room later that will talk to you about the band you're about to see. I'm not saying it cures depression. I'm just saying there's 800 people over there that you can walk up to any one of them and be like, I like that song because
Yeah.
just whatever it is you want to say. But to what Scott's saying, yeah, I never really thought about it too much. It just all of a sudden come together. I think now at this point that we've been together this long, we do talk about it a little bit more. But I think it's just more of like an acknowledgement of like, oh, hey, okay, this is kind of what we are doing and what we've become, because we didn't really know in the beginning what we were setting out to do or how we were going to do it. And now we've wound up over here like, okay, we pretty much know what Kult Ikon's going to be and how we're going to do this. So like on the third record, we're not going to have a singer again. Like we're not going to go out and be like, well, let's get a singer now, or maybe we should have a new odd instrument show up or add another guitar player. We can do this as a three-piece.
Oh, I didn't tell you yet that I was going to be playing accordion on the next record.
This is a great time to tell me that.
Look, Scott literally called me earlier and was like, hey, dude, you want to play the fart kazoo on our next album? And I was like, I'm fucking into it.
You made him leave.
Yeah. John's like, fuck you, I'm out of here.
He's
He
just
broke out.
getting another beer.
Oh, I was like, he's gonna break out the kazoo, isn't he?
He's gonna break out the fart kazoo.
That'd be
No, your worst fear would be I come back naked with the kazoo.
I think that would go viral.
That's not.
I would get a virus just being next to it. What are you talking about?
I wouldn't mind going viral, but I'd rather go viral for something a little more intelligent
True.
than people shaming my nude body. All right, we've started the interview, right?
This is live.
Yeah, 100% live.
Right.
4,000 people are watching right now, watching us
That's
talk about the
awesome.
fart kazoo.
Good evening, world.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Yeah,
welcome to Master Science Theater 2000.
exactly.
Oh,
Hey,
shit.
yeah.
So, like, I know you guys don't have a plan for the next album, and I'm okay with that because I'm still digging Black Iron Prison.
Sure.
So, like, Black Iron Prison comes in at, I mean, what do you guys, 37, somewhere between 37 and 40 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's like 37.
Yeah, somewhere like, yeah. And I think the first record, Sheet Metal Sessions, was about the same. And I don't know if that's just like a perfect amount of time to be sitting under the headphones, but it seems to work out. Again, we
feel-
didn't time it. It's just long enough, but not too short, not too long.
I feel like it's the perfect like album length. It's like 45 minutes is a decent album length, but on
Yeah.
vinyl, you're starting to push like the quality.
Right.
So like when you're down around 40, as long as the sides or the songs match up in
Yeah.
time length, you've got, a really solid album.
Yeah, I had something to say about that too. Oh yeah, and when you're direct support for a band, the middle slot, we can play the whole album. We can knock out 40-minute slot.
A tight
Perfect,
40-minute
a tight
slot.
40-minute slot. Also, if you'd like, I'll mail you an album. You want some vinyl?
Fuck yeah, I do.
All right. At the end of this, just in the chat or something, give me your address.
I'll hit you guys up on Instagram. I assume you're
That's
there.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, because I actually collect vinyl.
Oh,
So
that's awesome. Yeah, when we started doing PR for this stuff, I think we sort of, missed I don't, we didn't really send out a lot of albums just because when you're making these records yourself, it's expensive,
mhm.
and so with, Bandcamp downloads are fine, but I guess, sorry, I forget sometimes that people really still do love vinyl, and we don't mind sending out to a few people or whomever like
Spe-
yourself. Yeah,
Especially our age, right? Like
yeah,
we have
yeah.
that big throwback. Like I'll tell you, I lost my collection in probably '07, I think. My house burned down. I lost
Oh
everything.
man, sorry to hear that. That's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is. It sucked. I'm like, oh, I had I say I'm a vinyl collector. I had first pressing Beatles White Album with the foil stamp on it, and I was
Jeez.
like burned,
Yeah.
gone, fuck. So when I met my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, I said, "Hey, if you buy me anything for my birthday or whatever, do not buy me vinyl." She was like, "Why?" I said, "Because if you do, like it's gonna start again, and I can't control it."
Yeah.
She's like, haha, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And thousands of records later,
Now
she,
she believes you.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I had a package show up, I don't know, a few days ago with 4 or 5 records in it. And she's like, more records?
Yeah.
I'm like, I fucking told you early on,
Yeah.
don't buy me
Yeah.
records. This
Yeah.
is your fault.
Yeah. That is sound fucking logic. I back that up 100%.
So you guys release everything yourself. Everything you do is like all your own.
Yeah.
So far, yeah.
We are 100% DIY. We've recorded both records in the storage unit. I'll let him talk about that. He's done all the work to get that stuff done. Obviously, we've had it mastered outside our, we don't do the mastering.
Right.
And then, but yeah, Scott's the mastermind behind the recording and mixing. He had a little bit of help from Ryan, but mostly it's Scott.
What do you guys record on?
So Logic Pro
Okay.
or Logic Pro X, I guess is what they call it now. So
So
it's just a really I've had a modest mobile recording setup for a while. And I've recorded a couple bands here and there, but really it just stays at the practice space now. And whenever we want to record something, we can set it up. It's nothing fancy. It literally just captures the moment. And yeah, with the help of digital editing and a great mastering engineer, it actually sounds, I think, pretty decent.
if you wouldn't have told me it was recorded in a
Storage unit.
yes, that one. I told you it's been a long day.
It's okay.
I honestly would have never guessed like that the beauty of where technology is today with recording, you really couldn't tell, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
dollars
absolutely.
dollars go a long way now with like DIY recording equipment. And if you work your craft and you become proficient at it, I mean, it sounds pretty good. It's not
Mhm.
going to sound like it was recorded at Ocean Way or anything like that, but who would record this band at Ocean Way?
Someone would.
Someone would, yeah.
Someone
Hey, let's go to
someone-
Muscle Shoals to
someone
record Cult
imitating us.
Icon. Yeah.
Someone who thinks long form instrumental metal is the way to go, so they put a super group together.
Yeah, no, I think the beauty is in the imperfections, honestly, and you know, we're not a perfect band. But you know, we just try to make the best sounding record that we could.
It's not, this album isn't live, but it's, you know, there isn't lots of like fixing.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, some things, I won't get into it, but some things have to be kind of massaged a little bit because you're not in the studio.
Yep.
You know, but it's, you know, it's a live record. The first one's very live. That's all three of us in a storage unit at the same time.
Yeah, the
That's
first
crazy.
one was totally live, and it was just a couple of guitar overdubs.
Yeah.
This one we actually spent the time and sort of recorded the drums to a click, and then laid the bass and guitar down along with it.
So much more studio, like
A little
ready at that
more
point.
studio-ish.
I think that our drummer wanted to do that because he wanted to capture a better drum sound for himself. So he wanted to lay the drums down on his own in the space first. And then I
Yeah.
came back and did bass. That's what I play. And then he came back and worked on the guitars. I will say this though. Now this is, I guess they call it nowadays a humble brag, but I think live we're really good though. We have a really good live sound, yeah.
I
Yeah.
I really want to see you guys live. Because I really
That
like
is a perfect segue to inviting us to Louisville.
Yeah, we'll come to Louisville.
that's absolutely where I was going with it. I would
Yeah.
love to get you guys here to come play a show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I bought a van this year, so
Yeah,
we're mobile.
we're mobile.
Get in the van.
Yeah, but back to what John
Yeah.
was saying. I think really like a lot of what we strove for with the record was authenticity. Like there aren't performances on the record that we can't do live. And I think that was really important to me, especially as a guitar player. I would love to put 140 bed tracks down of guitar, just sort of wall of sound. But at the same time, that doesn't really serve what we are trying to accomplish. And it doesn't really serve us. If someone would come see us live after listening to the record, they would just be disappointed because
Yeah.
they'd say, well, where's the 50 guitar tracks?
Well, the 50 guitar tracks are on a cassette somewhere
Right.
that you're struggling to get working. Because we've been at shows of bands and nothing against them, but the technology is not working the way they want it to, whether it's the in-ear monitors or the backing tracks or
Yeah,
Or-
we don't want to tour with backing tracks.
You know, worse, like I went to go see a band again, right, a few months ago, whatever. Yeah, it was almost a year ago. Fuck. Someone stole their backing tracks.
Oh. Nightmare. That's nightmare fuel right there.
It absolutely is. Like the band is great. I love all the guys in the band. I love the band. And they were on tour, and I say someone stole it, but at some point from the time they unloaded till the time they hit the stage, the backing tracks had disappeared.
Was it like a Zoom meeting recorded over it?
They did. They put a new mixtape together. Hey.
Yeah, this is just a really quick sidebar about that. I was listening to a Sirius XM channel today. It was the NHL network. They were talking to a guy. He's like, I'm in my driveway on the phone. He's talking about hockey. His wife pulls in the driveway. His phone connects to her radio. So during the interview, all of a sudden you hear his wife and his child talking on the XM NHL Sirius channel this morning for like about 30 seconds. But yeah.
It's enough to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was weird.
Oh, it would have really been uncomfortable had they been talking about something really fucking weird.
Yeah.
You know,
or,
that
or
like,
her going like, I can't wait to divorce him.
that would be some shit that happens to me, right? Pull up and my wife and daughter are talking about poop or something, and I'm like, I'm the one that talks about poop. Can you not take my fucking shtick?
Can we not do this right
I mean,
now?
you're talking about fart kazoos.
Fart, yeah.
Right. Like I told
if we come to How do you say it? Louisville?
Say it like you got golf balls in your mouth.
I
Louisville.
can't. I just say
Louisville.
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 Louisville. Yeah, don't sample this and make me an asshole. I mean,
Here's what John had to say about Louisville.
we'll let you play. We'll let you play fart kazoo we'll let you open up a song.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, we would love to do that. One of the things, transitioning a little bit. One of the things that we're really trying to do more of is some of the PR like this, and
Yeah.
then just trying to get out in front of people. Social media is all right, but the problem is, as someone like yourself who is on social media too, it just zips right by you day after day. And you can put up a flyer for a show that's happening Saturday. No one sees it by like lunchtime, or maybe they see it later. We just want to kind of do it a little more the old way, where let's just go play shows for people. Let's just get in front of people, hear the music. Don't be completely turned off by instrumental music. Come and stand in a room for 40 minutes and hear what's going on.
Well, I'll tell you, we've got a band here called Ohm. It's OHLM, and they are I always say they're probably one of the best bands out of Louisville. They're instrumental, and
Yeah.
they are fucking fantastic, dude.
I'll put them on. I'll hit them up on Instagram, because that's another thing that I've been doing, old school style, like messaging bands in other towns to say, hey, trade us a show. We traded a show with a band called Future Projector in Richmond for a show in Raleigh.
Yeah.
Because again, I think with the internet, if you're booking bands, you're probably getting your inbox inundated with tons of people going, I want to play a show. I'm guilty of it. I've sent out plenty of emails, and I'm finding that just trying to do that simple one-to-one connection with people, even like yourself or those dudes up in Richmond, and just say, let's trade some shows, let's do some stuff. That human connection again seems to be working a little bit better.
I feel like that's the way to go. Like
Yeah.
we've moved away from that so far that the like bands, what do? They've really pushed social media, and a lot of the stuff that and I'm guilty of it, right? A lot of the stuff on social media doesn't, we put it out there like shit. I probably put 10 videos out today, something like that.
Sure.
But it doesn't really interact with the people, so they see it, right? They see my face a fucking lot, and I feel sorry for him, this mug, but it doesn't like connect. Whereas like you go to a live show and you play, people connect with that shit.
Oh yeah, I have a fan. I gave some kids. I don't know if you can see that too well. I gave a couple kids at our last show. They're just kind of hanging around. I'm like, by the merch booth. I was like, here's a sticker and some pins. They're like, we don't really have any money. I'm like, it's fine. Stickers and pins are just stuff you give away.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm made of money, but that's kind of the price of doing business. I think that you want to, hey, you're playing in a different town. Here's a sticker. Here's a pin.
It's brand recognition, right? The more places your stickers are, the more pins that they are. That's exactly what happens.
You also, and we have koozies too. We're gonna do this now.
Well, I mean, we're talking about brand marketing. Why not?
But long story short, I got a piece of artwork from the kid.
Hell yeah.
Like you said, that human connection. I'm like, well, that's cool. And you stuck around and hung out and watched all the bands too. It wasn't like you just kind of breezed through and had a beer.
Right.
But I was showing you that just because what you were saying about that human connection again, of like, social media is fine for the advertising and putting some stuff up there to let people know you exist, but I still think it's like getting out there and playing shows and meeting people, meeting the owners of the bars and the fans of the town and different people like yourself who do PR or who do interviews and saying, hi, here's who we are. Because I think when you're connecting with music, you want to, also kind of sometimes connect with the artist himself, and just, whether it's asking them questions or just, like, oh yeah, we saw them. Those dudes were cool.
Yeah. Well, and that's like, I'll be honest. I'm a fanboy. I'm a fanboy of music. That's why I started doing this, because I love talking to bands. And why do I love talking to bands? I don't know, because I'm a fucking nerd. Whatever.
Not mine.
That's all right.
We're the same.
But it's great. It's where I connect because again, right? Like going back to what we were saying earlier, for me, music is the great connector.
Yeah,
Um, it it crosses every fucking border you could possibly
absolutely.
imagine.
Absolutely. Well, and yeah, right. And like I said, if you move to a new town, you don't know anyone, and there's a band that you think you're gonna like, go there. You'll meet at least one person.
Yeah.
You know, maybe more, but you're in a room full of people who all like the same thing. There's no reason, you know, there's you like I said, you have something to talk about.
Yep.
You know,
100%. All right. I don't mean to cut this short, but
that's fine.
I got an appointment I got to get to.
It's all good.
Here's what I'm going to ask you guys.
Sure.
When you guys do the next album, can we fucking do this again?
Absolutely.
'Cause
Sure.
I thought this was fun as shit, and
Yeah.
special guest appearance with the fart kazoo at any show.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna we'll write a song. We'll call it "Shit Smears."
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, hit us up on Instagram. I'll get your address for the record, and then we'll talk about trying to maybe book a show in Louisville. I get it right?
Louisville. Yeah. Louisville.
Louisville. Just
Yeah, there you go.
Louisville.
All right.
Louisville.
Anyway, I only got 1,000 on the SATs. Louisville.
Louisville.
No,
It's
it's
a-
a fucking.
Everyone just back off.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You got come here. I'll
yeah.
take you to the Louisville store. They've got like 10 different ways to
Absolutely.
say it. So
Absolutely.
we'll figure it out. All right. You guys go. Thanks. I
Yeah.
really appreciate your time. I had a lot of fucking fun.
This is awesome.
Absolutely. Thanks.
I'm sweating my balls off, but thanks.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right.
Hooray for sweating your balls off.
All right.
All right.
See ya.
Have a good night, guys.